Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead that he's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off, he's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin, further down Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Coming down the side. He had it! He's going to get it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it! Big Barry!
Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Good evening and welcome. Stephen Karabelas on the mic, joined by Dean Biggles in the co-commentator's seat. We are here for Evolution Sim Racing's Ferrari Evo race this evening. We're at Brands Hatch, and it is a brilliant race course, you've got to say. Very fast, very twisty, some very hard to overtake places here as well. We're looking forward to round 2 of this championship here at Brands Hatch. It's going to be a good one. It was a bit tasty last time out at Silverstone. We had a few penalties come in after the fact, but here we'll go through the championship standings, and it's Rhys Saunders who was dominant last time out in Silverstone, had immense pace, ran away with the win in the first race and charged through the field in the second to gain great points, but did get involved in an incident to himself. He's leading the championship on 95 points, along with his teammate there, Raz Harbour. At least they've got very, very similar liveries on their cars, but they were working together at some stages. Raz Harbour even gave the position to Rhys Saunders last week. He sits on 85 points. We've got Carl Hadberger, who was involved in some incidents of his own last week on 67. He lost a couple, maybe, after first round, but I don't see him on my list. But Aramas Zilinskas in P4, JB Jenkins in P5, Mark Thomas in P6, Gary Mitchell doing very well in P7, and Thor Tuller, who had some rapid pace in the second race last time out in Silverstone, in P8, Mark Proctor P9. P10 belongs to Paul Cowlishaw, who's been in the stewards room quite a bit in the week after Silverstone. We'll go through that in a moment though. But Shane Cotton's in P11, Philip McConaughey in P12, who's also been in the stewards room quite a bit, along with Richard Flouty in P13 and Mark Jardine there in P14, Scott Kostrich in P15, Jimmy Covert in P16 and Marcus Law in P17, rounding out the top 17. And we carry on and to the championship standing. So this is the AM, so we've got two concurrent championships running here in Evolution Sim Racing. Thiago Reiser is currently leading this one alongside Stefan Parkinson in P2, both on 95 and 90 points respectively. Matthew Jones in P3, Wesley Van Rens in P4, who had a good time out last time, Hussein in P5 and Martin Lee in P6, Robin Trustwell in P7, Sean Clark P8, Stephen Donnelly in P9 on 40 points, and Gareth Newton in P10, as we see a couple of Ferraris getting entangled in the background. It is Craig Charles in P11 and Chris H. Keenan in P12, James B. Bostock, the runner of the league, the man himself, in P13 on 32 points. We'll look to gain more today, I'm sure. And James Mukian in P14, Stuart Brierley. I don't know where I got Richard from, it's not even on the screen. But P15, it belongs to him, Modestas Krasauskas in P16 and Adrian Hadfield in P17. And Jack Wyborn in P18 there. Rounding out the championship standings, we've got up next. What do we have, Jay?
Exactly. Well, welcome everybody, of course. I am the Dean Biggles, and we are underway with about 7 minutes remaining in our qualifying session. Of course, Brands Hatch used to be the old classic Formula 1 track, probably one of my favourites as well, UK tracks. Would be great actually have a Formula 1 race here, but unfortunately because of the safety, as you can see around the outside of this classic track. And these blind corners as well, so you can see currently where the 88 is parked. It's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. I remember too, one of my friends that runs a local radio station here in Panama actually tried out for the Formula Fords or something like that. I think it was before the F2s or F3s, whatever, back in the day, because he's a little older. And he got offered a drive actually for one of the racing teams.
Oh, nice.
However, he was in the British military at the time, so he couldn't break that contract with it anyway. But he was explaining about these blind corners when he went over it, and he seeing a car facing in the wrong direction and stuff like that. He said it was quite thrilling and also code browning per se at the same time.
I can imagine.
So yeah, but it is like loving it, and if everybody had an opportunity to go to this track, it'd be great. I haven't been to it. I don't know if you have, my friend.
I haven't. No, it's all the way down in Kent, a long way from where I am up in Newcastle. But it did originally. It was a bike track that opened in 1950, and it was pretty much just farmland. And it's obviously been improved and worked on over the years. And you're right, it did host F1, but far too dangerous for that these days. The F1 cars are too quick. They probably do a sub 1 minute lap here, I imagine.
Yeah.
They are so rapid. It's the lap record is actually held by the A1 GP Ferrari by Adam Carroll. It's a 1:12.276. But the GT3 record is held by the Mercedes AMG GT3, which we won't be seeing on track today. It's all Ferraris, and that's a 1:22.557. So we're not too far off that with a 1:22.623 from Saunders at the moment. He's looking to pick up where he left off last time out and dominate on pace in this field. He's already 5/10 almost ahead of P2. But back to the penalties from Silverstone. We'll just run through those quickly so everybody knows what the score is. We've got a number of people who've lost points and positions because of incidents last time out. So Philip McConaughey lost 2 points in the drivers and constructors because of an incident. Richard Flouty also lost 2 positions and 2 points in the drivers and constructors for his misdemeanors. We've also got Martin Lee, who's down 2 points in the championship and constructors as well. We've also got a warning for Philip McConaughey and Mark Jardine for their lap 6 incident. And 2 positions was lost by Matthew Jones, and he self-reported himself. That was for that rejoin that we saw last week. Don't know if you remember that. But there was a bit of a nasty rejoin, and he reported himself. And took the 2 position loss, which obviously position loss is much worse than the points loss, because you lose about 5 points for dropping a position, so it's a 10-point penalty, roughly. That is the roundup of the penalties, and I imagine we're probably going to see more today given the amount of off tracks and blocks and rejoins we've seen already in qualifying.
You're exactly right. Thank you very much for that penalty situation. We're currently riding on board right now with Paul. That's Paul Cowlishaw? Paul Cowlishaw. As both Reese and Scotty out there. So good evening, gents. And Scotty unfortunately says he's going to miss tonight. But good luck from Barcelona. Good luck. Well, thank you very much there, Scotty. Scott Crosstech that was racing there last week. Unfortunately, can't race this week. And this is a scary moment here, isn't it? When you're on your qualifying lap. Paul sees a car spinning around, has to react. Probably cost him a tenth or so. But luckily not too much.
Life out of me there.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you could take us on a hot lap guide where we're still pursuing it, you can see on the track map, that's the dot, the 3 dot. That's his current position. He's coming around into the pit lane entrance, final couple of corners. Right here, sweeping, there's your pit lane. Start finish line, bang. And
into turn 1 then, Paddock Hill corner. He's going to have a little bit of traffic from a car accident at the pits here, but it's a tricky track this. Lots of bit off-camber corners that make this very hard. Round into Druids now, a very tight hairpin. Got to keep it tight to the inside, get a very good exit. It's very important for the exit here because these next 2 corners are going to set you up for the long straight after. So this is through Graham Hill Bend, and then we're going to have 30s as well. You're going to carry as much speed as you can through here. Take a nice late apex, get on the power early. Don't want to get a snap like that because that's going to ruin your run all the way down at Pilgrim's Drop and into Hawthorne Bend. So Hawthorne Bend, and this is where it starts to get very exciting around Brands Hatch. This is a quick corner. It's all quick from here on out, and it's very twisty as well, and very bumpy track as well. It's leaning left and right, and this one here, you cut a lot of the inside. You've got to use all of the track on the outside exits here as well. You can go a lot further than that over the red and white curb, but big cut there on the inside as well. And now down through Stirling, and this is the last real braking zone in anger before you come now through Clark Curve, up Clearways and through Clark Curve onto the Brabham straight of the pit lane. And very few overtaking spots here, if I'm right, Biggles. It's a tough track to race at, and if you get it wrong, as the car, if you send it down the inside into Druids, say, and you get it wrong, and you make contact with the guy, or the barrier, as that guy in the background there has just done, it's very hard to recover from any kind of spin. And like you say as well, blind corners galore here at Brands Hatch. When you brow those crests, and all of a sudden you see a sideways car covering half the track, and you don't know which way he's going to go, you've just got to close your eyes and pray at that stage.
Yeah, you can see these are difficult beasts to handle, isn't it? The rear end starting to step out a lot of the drivers as we went on board before. This is Mr. Diego Reiser here, and he's currently second in his class. So it is Stefan Parkinson that's leading this one, and probably might very much lead it unless this man could do something about it, or any of the other AM drivers. The AM drivers are separated by the blue you can see in the timing tower, and the Pro are in the red. So you have to give it to Mr. Stefan Parkinson, who might be on an outlap actually. I'm not quite sure he's got enough time to get it done, but yeah, mixing it up there with the Pro boys is always good to see, and should give him a nice little track position as well too to start this race, isn't it there, my friend?
Get the feeling that Jardine there in P9 in class, and quite far down in the order, beaten by quite a few AM drivers. Maybe hasn't got a clean lap in his qualifying session, because we would expect him to be a little bit more on pace compared to what he's showing here. But 4 seconds left, you're right. I don't think Parkinson's going to get another lap in at all, but we shall see how things go in the first
just
race.
wrapped up, believe it or not. Yeah. So yeah, grid.
So yeah,
to come up.
Yeah, this is our grid then. Rhys Saunders, carrying on from where he left off, takes P1 in the first race. It's going to be a 20-minute race, followed by a 30-minute race with a reverse top 15. We've got Alex Fretwell in P2. He's done extremely well. We've not seen that end of the table in the first couple of races so far. Paul Cowlishaw is doing well in P3, back to where he belongs. Auramas Zelinskas, who did very well last week at timeout, and he's in P4. JB Jenkins in P5 after a good showing last week. He won the second race, I believe. And Raz Harper should maybe be thinking about doing better than that. He was up in the top row last time out. But Mark Thomas in P7, followed by Stephen Parkinson, who's done a cracking job in the arms to get up in there with the pros in P8. Phil McConaughey in P9, hoping to not worry the the stewards too much this week. But Thiago Reuser in P10 and Joe Glass and James Bostock rounding out the front 12 there for us for the AMs as well. Carrying on down the grid, we've got Matthew Jones in P13, Mark Jardine in P14, Stephen Donnelly in P15. 16 belongs to Hussein, and James Mukian is in P17, Modestas in P18, Wesley in P19, Robin Aston in P20. We've seen him have some great races, and Craig Charles in P21, Robin Trustwell in P22, and 23 belongs to Sean Clark. We've got Aidan Hadfield in P24, Martin Lee in P25, Graham Matthew in P26, and David Clark in P27. Stuart Briley, P28, Adrian Hadfield in P29. I wonder if those two guys are brothers. And Rob Coleman in P30. And rounding out the grid is Danny Stewart in last place. Good 8 tenths off anybody else. So I'm wondering if he didn't get a good go of it. But getting ready to go for the first race. 20-minute sprint. It's this one tends to get a bit tasty. And because if you do end up in, say, P15, you end up first in the grid in the next one. But we have the lights up on the board now. We've got 3, 4, and 5. And it's away we go for Brands Hatch. It's a big bit of wheel spin there from Saunders, but he gets a good launch. But look at this. From P5 comes through Fretwell and Zilinskas into P1. And it's a terrible launch from Saunders. He's down to P2, but he's fighting it out on the inside there into Druids. And he looks like he's going to maybe take this back. He's got the inside there. He bullies his way through and gets the position back. And Fretwell will be disappointed with that. So Zilinskas now down to P3. And Fretwell may be able to take advantage of that around the outside, and he does. What a move from Fretwell there. Keeps his commitment, and Saunders is just jaunting off now. And look at this dive here from Aramas. It's Zilinskas down the inside. Is he going to get it done? It's not. He's spun around. It's done. Lost it. I think there was maybe a little bit of contact there with the back of Fretwell, but Cowlishaw is pleased with that, and that's Zilinskas to the very back. No damage in these races. We've got more side-by-side racing as we come through, and looks like that is Harper getting taken by Jenkins there. So Jenkins up a couple of positions already in this race. Good strong start from him. And we've got a big crash there in the background. That is Krasauskas, I believe. Or is it Glass who's gone off? Yeah. It's Glass. And he'll have a difficult time rejoining there. But the field will be going through. And it's all packed together still. So he won't be too much time. But what a start that was for Fretwell. Amazing.
Absolutely. You can see further battles that are brewing up currently at the moment here down in... essentially in P4 in the AM class at the moment, as they're all scrabbling for positions early here, trying to seize the opportunity. You saw that further back as well too, some of those drivers going around. We kind of expected that. Brands Hatch will produce that, wheel-to-wheel racing, of course, with the elevation changes. But you have to say 18 to go, 18 minutes, and that's pretty impressive racing. And you could see the power slide into cold tires. Drivers are eager, the hearts are pounding through the roof there. If you had a heart rate monitor, look at that in the background as well too. Also a bit of a blinking light of there. That could have been one of the reasons as to why Ed Hadfield's gone around there, because you get that little blinking light of death essentially. If there it is, Craig Charles as well too, having another adventure. Just like that.
Yeah, lots of incidents here in the opening laps. That is the nature of Brands Hatch, unfortunately. It is a very, very difficult racetrack. The camber, especially the off-camber corners, really catch a lot of drivers out. You expect the grip to be there, and if you get the corner line slightly wrong, the grip is disappearing very quickly, and you've got no time to adjust. You've got to get the entry perfect. But lots of wheel-to-wheel racing here in the opening laps. And yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, that one into Druids, I believe it was. We've got another Alpha car off. It is. Looks like it's Coleman this time. Maybe that's gone awry. But yeah, and then we've got Matthew off the track as well. It's a good job these guys haven't got damage, because this would be causing lots of problems. But they can get back on track and get going again in short order and not lose out too much. But obviously they are losing a great deal of positions as the fastest laps come in there from Saunders and Reiser, leading both of their classes respectively, and running away with it respectively as well. 2.5 seconds the gap to between McConaughey and Reiser. There's another guy. That's what I'm talking about there. He gets off out on the outside line there, loses the inside camber of the corner, and then his grip's just not what you expect it to be. And you've got to be very patient with your moves around here. You can't, if the guy's defending, very, very hard to make it work around the outside in a lot of corners here. But it's not for want of trying from these guys. They're definitely giving it all as we see more side-by-side action here into Graham Hill Belt. And what a move that was from the Sky liveried car there. And he's going to get 2 in 2 corners here, and that lets through the man behind as well. I wonder if there was maybe a little bit of giving up there from the number 44.
This is definitely heating up at the moment. You've got some drivers that are way out of position. Like, for example, look at Joe Glacier. And
yeah,
he's got
I mean, these
pressure
guys
from James behind him as well. So this is a great. You got to remember, where is it? We're down here in essentially overall 23rd position, squabbling in their classes to try to get something done. I'd have to give it, as I was to say to the driver before, Mr. Lee, Mr. Martin Lee, that's currently running in P4 in class, 12 positions gained. So somehow he's managed to avoid as Rob has gone off into the track at the moment. Don't come back on. Whoa. He did, but thankfully he didn't manage to collect anybody. He will have a little bit of paint scraped off. It'll be repaired instantly, as you said, without the damage, but then he's got a bit of work to get back done.
I'm more worried about the poo on the driver's behind seat, to be honest, because yeah, that was pure luck that he didn't collect anybody. Imagine the guys around him most likely lifted there in a situation like that. We've got a move here into Druids, I believe this is, and it's gone deep there. Has Van Rens and Zelinskas is that? I'm not sure, but Wesley Van Rens, I believe it is. Yeah. So, but managed to avoid it on the outside as these guys get a little bit twitchy on the rear end.
Oh no, it's Lee!
Yep.
I just spoke about it before. Those positions that again he's made a mistake, and now he may very well have to hold on there to Robin as he gets his speed back up and tries to scrape all that grass off his tyres. And yeah, I definitely spoke a little bit too soon on that one. That's unfortunately because Martin Lee had been doing so well. As I said, getting those positions. Have a look at the replay as to what has happened. We'll get a little bit more speed on this one. And that's just way too deep even before the corner
got
there.
Got too hot, yeah, hasn't he? Ooh, very close on the rejoin there, but that is a big slap in the face with the commentator's curse to Lee there. And I'm sure he'll be in the DMs just telling you off about that afterwards. But the commentator's curse is definitely real. Believe me, I've been commentating for a couple of years now. And yeah, just don't underestimate the power we have here in this booth. That's all I'm saying. But here we go down into turn 1, I believe this is. This is Paddock Hill Bend, a very tricky corner to overtake in. You've got to be very trusting of the guy on the inside. Druids is probably your best bet in most situations to make any kind of overtake, but if the guy defends the inside, very tough to make it a work around the outside. But you will get the inside for Graham Hill Bend, named of course after the infamous Graham Hill, father of Damon Hill, I believe.
Yes. How many championships did he win? There you go, that's one for you.
I honestly don't know. It's before my time, but yeah, chat, let us know if you know how many championships Graham Hill won. I still count Damon Hill as winning 2 because Schumacher stole 1, remember?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's going to get back to that same situation, isn't it? Lewis Hamilton should have another one then. Max stole it. Miko, yeah. Or Massa should have had one because Lewis stole it. Yeah, it's good to see when it comes down to the crunch. What about Senna and Prost as well too? We know all that situation that when Japan that time when they collided with each other.
A lot of trophies out there with the wrong names on. That's all I'm saying. But it's starting to spread out a bit.
Trying to get his way back up there as well too after that fantastic start. See the position gainers and losers. And it's Stefan Pax and that's behind him. It's the biggest loser, unfortunately, for the AM class. And that Sky car you saw going around a little bit earlier. Further up, this man's leading, and we haven't seen too much of Reese because he's just doing the right job. Right place, right time. I always say if the camera's not pointing on you, then that's a good race.
Yeah.
If you point on you towards the end of the as you cross the lines is the best thing. Because you're not in the wars, are you? You're quiet and quietly getting the job done on track.
Yeah, in my old age, in my races, I look forward to those quiet ones with no incidents. Oh, he's taking the leader as well. Oh my God!
Unfortunately, the driver has taken him out, and that's just what happens when you have a lot of cars
See,
on
what I was telling you about.
How is that for unfortunate commentator cursing? Because we just said he's having a quiet race, and just like that, unfortunately, he gets T-boned. Oh no!
I apologise, Reese. I really do. That was the commentator's curse.
It was Daniel. It was Danny. Was it Danny here that makes a mistake?
Sure, yeah.
And no fault to Danny because Danny's just driving at the moment. Maybe he got a little intimidated because he might have pulled off the side, so he didn't get involved, and somehow it snapped on him. And what he's done, so by doing a good deed of trying to get out of the way, it unfortunately has turned into the opposite of a good thing. And I'm sure Danny at the moment is definitely feeling like it's a my bad, my friend. It's definitely a my bad. You can see absolutely no intentions whatsoever. He was trying to do the right thing. I couldn't believe the car could snap like that when he slowed down.
He touched the grass, you see. He was on the brakes and he touched the grass on the right-hand side. It threw the car to the left, and at that point he was just a passenger. And honestly, there was absolutely nowhere Saunders could have gone to avoid that incident. He would have had to be clairvoyant to predict that. And yeah, there's no during that. I think Cowley Short also got a bit of contact there, but because there's no damage, he got away pretty much scot-free. So now it's all to do for Saunders down into P7. And what I was going to say before as well is that these guys who are out of position, who've been put to the back or been taken out in unceremonious manner, they're going to find it difficult to fight their way back through at this track. It's so hard to make the overtakes, even if you've got that overspeed. And there's every chance that they could get collected again when somebody else is thinking, oh, I'll just get out of their way.
Yeah.
And that's...
This is, yeah, exactly. There's the reason why you don't give up anyway in a race. It doesn't matter where you are, because just like that, you can be gifted a position, or a position could be taken away. This is Rob as well, too. So this is Rob further back, who... Well, sorry, it's not Rob I wanted to look at. It was actually Paul, wasn't it? I think you said, but that's this is Rob. I wanted to see, but you said Paul got a little tap, didn't he? As well, that action. I'm trying to go back and see that one. But...
Yeah, Cowley Shaw, you just just ran into the back of the 44, and quite work out for him. But I mean, wasn't quite as bad as Saunders. There he goes. Proving to catch a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
I've been
very lucky.
a victim of that one as well. Graham Hill bend, tricky corner to get right. You've got to send it, but if you send it just a little bit too hard, the rear comes around on you. It's just the way that the track dips in there. You lose grip for just half a second. You've got to make sure that you're nice and stable, and if you're coming in too hot, it's very easy to lose the back end. But starting to get exciting. 9 minutes to go, and Cowley Shaw is absolutely laughing his head off at the moment, because he had no chance. He was catching slowly. He was within 1 second when the incident happened, but I don't think he really had the pace to ever mount a serious challenge onto Saunders, who's on the back of McConaughey now, and will be looking to try and recover some positions at least. But the second race is still to go. We've got a 30-minute race after this one, and P15 on the grid here will start P1 in that one.
Oh, I was coming back to this action, because I was about to say, this is definitely getting spicy. If a couple of cars go into one corner here at Brands Hatch, and they're going to have basically... Have you ever played Rocket League? That's the onesies right now, so they're going to try to push each other a little bit. They're not going to get anywhere, boys. Not at the moment. Have to wait for those cars to come around the corner, because it's a bad exit, and there's the 33 car. Hopefully, they did the right thing. He got to get the power up. There's the 30 car. Stay on the inside off the racing line, my friend, because there's going to be cars coming around, and of course you could be seeing race leaders and all sorts of jazz. Just like that. Scotty out there in the chat. I know you're missing this one, but Scotty out. Oh, wow, way too deep for the Ferrari. I was going to say they're all Ferraris, but who was that? Is that Joe? Yeah, Joe, my friend. Didn't hit the stop pedal too deep into that corner.
Yeah.
And get back to that one, Scotty. I bet you, Scotty, you've probably been in that situation before, haven't you, my friend, leading a race, and all of a sudden, bang, something happens up the road, and like that, your hopes and dreams of winning that race are crumbling before your eyes. Usually more in endurance races that kind of stuff happens, doesn't it? But I guess at this point, there's so many cars on track, mate. You can see the track map. They're all spread out. It's essentially like an endurance race, and that's up the inside. Bold and brave from Rice. So back, isn't he, on a rampage, I guess. He's like, I'm not messing around, my friend. I still have 7 minutes to go. Let's see how far up the grid I can get.
He's got nothing to lose at this stage. He's always going to send it a bit harder on these slower guys that he believes, he thinks to himself, oh, I'm so much quicker than these guys are holding me up. I'm having to brake so early, lift and coast in so many places around this track that cost me time. And to a racing driver, time is everything. And he definitely wanted through there in short order.
Look at this. Lap car's going to come into play, and you look at the lap car is as well. The one lap car that we saw that was involved in the incident before, and that's how are you going to get through there? That's what I love about Brands Hatch, my friend. I'm sorry, Silverstone, you ain't got nothing on this track.
I mean, I wish Formula 1 could race here, but obviously not the kind of track that really suits F1 and the size of those cars these days.
This is going to be, look at Reese. He's going to get through a gaggle of cars clearly quicker. Let's ride on board with how he's going to navigate through here. He's got to have a lot of faith, remember, around the cars. And I think at this point, my friend, he's like, you know what? Exactly. I got nothing to lose. I'm going for gold here. Even getting overtaken as well, too, by Phillip, I think that was.
Yeah, that's McConaughey going back through the car 169, back in front, and that's because he got checked up there by the blue flagged car ahead, and he had to slam on the brakes mid-corner to avoid running into the back of them, and that just opened the door for McConaughey, and he just said, thank you very much, I'll have that place back, but he's not going to hang on to it for too long, I don't think. But we've got Harper, his teammate and friend from Silverstone. He's going to go down the inside into turn 1 again. And a bit of door-to-door, and he's taken out.
And that's another one. Oh, poor Reese, man. At this point, it's just like, you know, I think it's just going to encourage him to go even quicker in this next race. He is going to be fuming in that helmet, I guarantee you.
He's not going to be happy.
You get that steam, my friend, and convert that into energy, and it makes you go quicker. That's all I'm going to say. We have to keep our eyes peeled for him in the next race, because he is going to be on a rampage, I can guarantee you. Probably just like Martin Lee here, but then again, Martin Lee's fault of his own is he definitely squeezes his way through there, and that's a way you can do it, because, you know, you're not really risk of turning the car around on that slow part of the corner, as long as you are wheel to wheel, like door to door, not a police maneuver kind of thing, isn't it? Your front.
Yeah.
Wheel
I think a few drivers, though, are finding out the difficulty of overtaking here and how dangerous it can be. That is Reese. He was so much faster than McConaughey there as well, and he had the inside line. And I need to review the incident from many different angles to make any kind of decision, but you got to say that's probably a racing incident from my point of view. But yeah, turn around by McConaughey there in turn 1. Turn 1, not really a very good overtaking spot. It's a very fast corner, and you've got to be very trusting of the man that you're racing up wheel to wheel with. Saunders has learned a lesson there, not to do it with McConaughey there. Druids, the next corner along is probably the better one. You probably want to try and get a good exit out of turn 1 here, because he's got a very good exit there, and he's going to go around the outside into Druids. This is going to be tough, but so he's got pace, and if you can hold it around the outside, you get the inside for Graham Hill, which is the place to be, really, but he doesn't manage to get it done. See how difficult it is to go around the outside of Druids. There's just no grip there in comparison to the inside, and Saunders now driving angry. This isn't the first time we've seen him do this either. Had that in the promo race, remember?
Yeah, and believe it or not, well, I'm just going to keep an eye out. I keep our eyes peeled on this battle, because this is, as you said, it's trying to find an overtaking opportunity. This is a battle currently for 4th and 5th. But, well, Diego Reiser here at the moment, he's the AM class, so he is battling it out like he's a pro driver with alongside with Reese Harper. So
pushes him off.
Absolutely.
Pushes him off track as well, leaving no quarter, and everything's on the table. Elbows are out, and yeah, this is for position as well, regardless of class or category. Armo Pro, he wants this position, and P5 is a very good position for Reiser here.
Seizing the opportunity, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah. We've got Aston and Saunders. That's not Saunders, sorry. That's not Aston, sorry. That's a black marker there by the looks of things.
There's Saunders.
Saunders, yeah, he's trying to get past number 44 again. I wonder if he's going to give him any hand signals out of the window as he drives past. Doubt it, but it's all fun and games here. It's nothing serious, no professional drivers in this league, but we do all like to take our racing a little bit seriously. But what an event we've had here. 2 minutes 30 to go, and we've still got another 30-minute race to go as well. And I imagine, yeah, we're going to see more pointy elbows in people's ribs as we've got more action here coming through into turn 1. Managed to get it slowed down. That's Lee making up places, and now he's on the back of Saunders, and maybe he can follow Saunders through a group, but not long to go. Not many more positions to gain. Kalushaw is a 3.5 second lead out in front. He's run away from Fretwell, who's that start from Fretwell has proved vital to him in the end. But Thomas and Jenkins also battling hard for that last podium spot. Oh, that's a bit of a send and a takeout there. That's Donnelly gone off there, and it looks like it was Briley, and that was never on. You've got to say, I just caught the end of that there, and that was a big shunt. I don't think it was Briley. I don't think he was ever making that corner.
I'm telling you what, mate, it seems to be every single time we're putting that camera on the track, we're capturing the action as it is. We've had, I believe it or not, haven't had to use many replays. That's how, I don't know. Either just we are cursing every these drivers with the cameras here this evening, or we're just putting the camera at the right place at the right time. Thomas at the moment is trying to do something about a P3 position with a minute and change to go on this one. He's tucked up in the gearbox there of Jamie Jenkins. Seeing if he can...
Jenkins, I think it is.
Jenkins, yes, you're right, correctly. Yep, sorry about that.
But yeah, he's going to find it tough. He's going to find this tough. He's been on the back of Jenkins for a while, and Jenkins is defending the inside. And once you do that, once you've got that mindset here around Brands Hatch, you can defend forever. It is so difficult to make a move around the outside, but you're hoping for a mistake from the guy in front. That's what Thomas has got his fingers and toes crossed for here. He's trying to ramp up the pressure. He's got so much overspeed here. He's going to get alongside now, and backs out of it, like rightly so as well. This section of the track, very fast corners here in this second and third sector, and it's very tough to make any kind of overtake. You just want to try and put the guy off his line, put the pressure on, turn the screw, and that's what Thomas is trying to do now. He's following very closely, and maybe he'll go for the move into turn
enough
1.
Time for another lap here. This Paul's about to cross the line. Will he get showed the white flag for another lap? I believe so, which would be fantastic because we get to see what will happen with the remainder of this battle. There is that Barney waving that white flag. So, yep, the last lap.
And look at this. They're ending the inside, and look, he's got nowhere to go. Thomas just doesn't get the same speed. You can still get a good exit with the inside line at Brands Hatch, and look how close he is behind as well. And he doesn't want to make the move down the inside into Druids because it would give him a poor exit and a bad run through Graham Hill as well. He's really starting to amp the pressure up now. He's looking left and right, and Jenkins has his work cut out for him. I really hope we get to interview these guys, if I remember what happened here after the second race. But now he's got a mistake there, and he's got alongside. Is he going to get it? Finally, I don't know. It's going to be tight. He's going to have to outbrake him pretty hard. Get a nose in front. It's a right-hander coming up. He's got the inside here, Jenkins, and he gets around the outside. There's a little bit of contact there, but they both managed to get away with it. Is Jenkins going to be able to fight this back? It doesn't look like he is, and looks like Thomas has got it and runs away with it as well. Brilliant stuff on the last lap. White flag is like showing a red carpet to a bull.
Amazing driving, isn't it? That's what you want to see, isn't it? There, absolutely.
Certainly is.
Good racing, and well, I tell you what, there's Paul. He's been he had to work for it, of course. He's been handed. He's got a couple positions gained. He's going to be flashing his lights at the moment. So there it is. Paul will get the race win there, followed there by Alex, and Mark will wrap out your top 3. There's Mark Thomas going across the line right now. Brilliant
a well-earned podium for Thomas there with a brilliant overtake on the last lap. Cowley Shaw will be very pleased that somebody did him a big favour in Danny, it was, who did him a favour, and he picks up his first win of the season. Ricer wins for the second time as well, I believe, in the AM category, so he's very good, and his closest rival Parkinson finishes way down the order in P13, and yeah, I believe it's going to be, is it Lee who's going to start on the front of the grid now? I'm not sure. I'm finding it difficult to figure out my positions.
Yeah, 15, it'll be James, I think that's your driver there.
Mukian is going to be on pole for the second race as we do a reverse 15 grid for this one. Just a reminder of the format. We've got 2 races this evening, one 20-minute one, which we've just got done with, and another reverse top 15 grid 30-minute race. We do have a pit stop in that race as well. The fuel is calculated so that everybody has to do a quick splash and dash. But we did see in the promo race at Okayama that some people can fuel save so much they don't have to do the pit stop at all. It may be the case is here as well. But that was entertaining. There was a lot going on there. A lot of people involved in incidents. I imagine the stewards are going to be fairly busy after Brands Hatch, but that is the nature of this race course. It's tight, it's twisty, it's difficult to overtake, and you've got to be fully committed in that last sector through Westfield Bend, Dingledale, Sheens, Stirlings, and it's all very fast and flat out, very little braking. And if you're offline, you've got to adjust, and a lot of drivers are unable to do that, and end up clattering into another man. But yeah, with everybody on track and very close together at the beginning, there was carnage there at Brands Hatch in Heat 1. hopefully people will have learned some lessons and take that into round 2. James Bostock does very well. P2 in the AM class. You've got to say that's a good result for the 66 car.
Yeah, there's your results currently up on the screen for you to go through for Heat 1.
So Paul Cowley-Shaw, a privateer team, wins this opening race. We've got Alex Fretwell, who got off to a cracking start there at the beginning, gained a couple of positions and never looked back for Racing League Hub. We've got CRN Motorsports Mark Thomas, car 150 in P3, rounding out the podium with a brilliant overtake on Jamie Jenkins on the final lap. Jamie Jenkins, very respectful and great driving there from the privateer team member. Comes in at P4, and Thiago Reiser mixing it up with the pro boys. Could end up a pro boy himself in short order if he doesn't slow himself down a bit. Maybe he needs to get some sandbags in that car, bit of weight, bit of ballast. But Jardine finishes P6 and Philip McConaughey finishes P7. Raz Harper in P8. He'll be disappointed with that finish. He wanted to be higher up, I'm sure, after a good showing in Silverstone last week, came P2. James Bostock, P9, as we've already mentioned, and Aromas Zilinskas, who got punted, sent around in lap 1 incident. First incident we saw on track today. He finishes P10. P11, it belongs to Matthew Jones. And Rhys Saunders at P12 was hanging on to P1 until we cursed the man in spectacular fashion. Martin Lee in P13. He was having a good race for a time until we cursed him as well. We're on form today, are we not, Biggles?
Absolutely.
Followed by Wesley Van Rens in P14. James Mugian in P15. He'll start on pole along with Wesley on the front row. And Robin Aston in P16. He'll be hoping to have a good second race as well. Starting high up, he did well in that position last time out at Silverstone. Robin Truswell in P17 for Cabot Motorsport.
Yeah, we'll just go through the rest of those results as well too from our first heat race, as drivers have elected to do a little bit of a warm-up session. They don't need a warm-up session, as you know. There's your rest of the results. My first heat.
We've got Joe Glass in P18, who had one to forget today. He was off quite a few times. Graham Matthew also had an off-track or two, and Modestas Krasauskas in P20. Stuart Briley maybe in the steward's room for a bit of a send on I think it was Hadfield. It was Adrian Hadfield that he sent off, but remains to be seen. Can't view all of the replays persistently like the stewards can, but Stefan Parkinson, missed him out there for privateer team. Be disappointed with his P22 finish. He was fighting at the top of the championship before today. You'll need to get some good points in this second race to catch up. Craig Charles in P23 for Alfo. Off a couple of times, Alfo boys were, and Adrian Hadfield in P24 for Next Gen Racing, along with Ayrton Hadfield in P26. Damaging Dave Clark in P25. Sean Clark is the last man on track, I believe. Have we got more?
Just a couple.
Rob Coleman in P28, Hussein in P29. We expect him to be much higher up the field than that, so I imagine he got caught in some shenanigans. And Stephen Donnelly there in P30. I believe Mr. 44, wasn't 44, it was Danny, is not on the board. He quit after getting on the grass and sending into P1 at the time. Rhys Saunders, I believe he towed back to the pits and hung his head in shame. I don't think it was that bad, in all honesty, Danny.
Yeah, and considering the situation is what's been happening, where there's Rhys, he says can't wait to get taken out again. You're not the only one, my friend. Just about anybody. It's going to be a matter of touching wood and survival of the fittest. That's what I'm saying. Every driver out there on the grid, regardless of what position you are, you've got to see it through, honestly, because you just do not know what happens here at Brands Hatch. You do not know.
Practice as well.
Yeah,
I was practice, in a VR
exactly. You signed yourself up to say, look, I'm going to be here for an hour or so, right? You might as well just get out there and put laps in, even if you're like me, for example. If I'm running plump last time, I'm a second to 2 seconds a lap slower than everybody else. It doesn't matter. I'm just still getting lap experience in. I'm still learning how to try to move out of the way, faster cars going through, things like that as well too. And as we saw, even moving out of the way, trying to do the right thing sometimes onto that grass can cause issues with other drivers. So
we're all only human at the end of the day. And you now know that if you touch the grass while on the brakes, it will send the car into the
I didn't know that. I didn't expect that to happen. I'm sure he didn't either. That's why you got to be out there practicing. And
unfortunately,
it's different when you're practicing by yourself, isn't it? Doing some practice laps out there, with nobody on the grid. But when you have an opportunity to have 30 drivers around you, then, it gives you something else. Here's your grid anyway at the moment for our reverse 12, I believe it is, as I mentioned out there in the chat.
We'll just go through the front 15 because the rest we've obviously got from the results of the last race. But James Mukian will be starting on pole after finishing P15, along with Wesley Van Rens on the front row of the grid. Got Martin Lee behind and Rhys Saunders on the second row as well. So he's in a good position to get a good result here. Got Matthew Jones in P5 and Aramas in P6. He's looking to make another good recovery here after he got it punted in the first one. James Bostock in P7 and Raz Harper in P8, followed by Philip McConaughey P9 and Mark Jardine in P10. Thiago Reiser in P11 and Jamie Jenkins in P12 for the British driver. Following on with the last three positions, it's Mark Thomas in P13, Alex Fretwell in P14, and I missed the last one, but we've got 5 lights and we're already away. And it looks like a good start from P1, but P2 is gaining on him, but he's got the outside line for turn 1, and there's a big punt behind as well, and that's going to cause absolute carnage behind. Lots of cars off, lots of drama in the opening stint here. This is reminiscent of Spa 1998, I believe it was, in the West. Lots of carnage there, lots of drivers off. There's a big pile up at the back. Look at that. That is danger for anybody coming behind. Anybody who navigates this is going to gain a lot of positions as there's another punt and a spin as somebody's trying to get going again, and it's all gone wrong on the opening lap there. Van Rens takes the lead over Jones, and it's gone
we'll have to definitely go back and get a replay of that one in a bit because yes, exactly. Reminiscence of Spa. That's exactly what I thought about. This would be a red flag scenario if it was in the real world.
I was about to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. If there was ever a red flag in sim racing, this would have been it. But the front pack have gone and they've got a nice little train. And they're away, and it's a 30-minute race, no damage, so everybody can and will get going again, and you can hopefully make up a fair bit.
Run back and grab the T-cars, you don't need them.
Please, yeah.
If everybody remembers the old school days of Formula 1 stuff, they used to have the spare car. They used to run back in the pit lane and grab it if it's the case of obviously a red flag or a safety car at that point, and this would have been so. But anyway, you don't have to worry about it, boys, because you got fast repairs, 0 repairs instantly, instant repairs.
Yeah. I imagine there's a few drivers going to be running back to the pit lanes for some toilet roll after that. It was definitely going to be a difficult one to navigate. When you saw it, it was a very difficult one to navigate. A number of cars, nowhere to go. Cars strewn all over the front of turn 1, and it caused havoc. But now, what we've got is 28 minutes of epic racing to go, and lots of cars out of position, which means we're going to see a lot more action on track, and that's what we want as spectators. I imagine the stewards will be very disappointed with that one, though. You've got to say, driving standards on opening laps here, leaving a little bit to be desired, but that is what it is. None of these guys are professional drivers. We've got a very mixed bag. There's Lee. I don't think the wall in it was in his M&M liveried car. Beautiful car. As also this year one as well is very striking with the lime green. Got the DeWalt as well here of Cowley with the very, very chrome bumper. We've got some side-by-side racing here, and this is the final corner, I believe it is, or is this turn 1? I can't tell. It's a poor camera angle to tell which corner name it is, but they are still going at it, hammer and tongs, these two boys. This is Zelinskas, and who else? We've got Thomas and McConaughey here in a little train. McConaughey leading in the 169 car, followed by Zelinskas, who will probably be the quicker man out of these three, but Thomas already no stranger to battling wheel to wheel around here after that first race in the 150 car, the green liveried CRN livery car there in the background, and it's 1, 2 and 3 in the pro category, and everything's been a bit mixed up here by that incident. Turn 1, lap 1, and we've got some unusual phases at the front. McConaughey is living in dreamland at the moment up there, maybe getting a nosebleed, he's so high, but he's got work to do defending against these guys behind, and these guys are rapid as well, and they're going to put the pressure on. You're going to have to deal with blue flags, black markers all the way around this track as well. Seeing at the moment there's a lot of guys still bunched up after that turn 1 incident, but guys spread around the track in odd places.
Yeah, I'll see if we can go back in a minute when we get a time to have a look at that race start. But at the moment, we'll wait for that one because you can see the battle brewing here currently at the moment. Three-way! Oh, I don't know if you can. Now, thankfully, at the moment, I was going to say the Ferrari's backed off, but they're all Ferraris, and they are still going to continue this one. Don't go 4, guys. Please don't go 4. There's no possible way that you can squeeze 4 cars through here. And if you do, you'd have to clip that as the highlight of the century on iRacing, one of the top 10 highlights. If they still do them, because that would be amazing.
This is some fantastic racing that we're seeing on the screens right now here between McConaughey and Zelinskas as well, door to door, rubbing shoulders. Oh, that was a close one as well from Jones there. As he just wants to get out of the way of these guys by the looks of things. He doesn't want to be involved in this battle. He knows there's going to be an incident sooner or later. These guys are racing hard, and we saw that there between Zelinskas and it was he's gone now. It was him going into the pits, I believe. So yeah, hard race. No, sorry, Zelinskas there, still in P2, if in class. Sorry, apologies. These guys were going at a hammer togs, rubbing doors, rubbing shoulders. They could literally have reached through the window and touched each other at some stages there, and that was through the fast sections as well. Epic racing and driving skill from these fellas here, and they've got Cowlishaw and Jakings rising up to the back of this pack as well, and it's starting to get tasty as around the outside. Zelinskas goes on McConaughey. McConaughey's been in the battles today. He's had the quick boys behind him non-stop, and he's done a fantastic job defending so far. Gets the inside and tries for the switchback there, Zelinskas, but isn't able to get it done after a bit of a wobble, after a little bit of minor contact. These guys are not afraid of scraping some paintwork on each other.
Putting him on board at the moment. I just like the sensation of speed as we're traveling in the 150 machine here, Mark, and you can see that he's got the bird's eye view of that battle up the road there. And because they're pushing it, guys, shoving a little bit, it's going to give Mark a great exit side by side alongside where Philip, as you said, has been in the wars. He's loving it. I'm sure he's loving it. This is the reason, the absolute reason as to why you invest some of your money into these tracks, into these cars, into your racing rig, so that you can go wheel to wheel, grinding racing like this. And you're going to be getting it all live here at Evolution Sim Racing Round 2 from Brands Hatch.
McConaughey manages to defend well from Cowlishaw behind there as well, but these guys are trading positions like they're Pokemon cards at the moment, and McConaughey is dropping fast. He's not got the pace to keep up with these guys. He's doing his damnedest though to hang on and to hold on to as many positions as he can, because the more he loses now, the more he loses later down the line when these guys get past and run away from him. And he wants to hold these guys up, hold on to this position, hold on to these points as long as he can. But these guys are not afraid to make the overtakes here, not afraid to risk a lot to get the position, and that is the mark of a good racing driver, I suppose. Calculated risks. Sometimes they get it wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're in the big boy club. If you can afford to buy one of these Ferraris, my friend, you can afford to race at the absolute level. Let's see if we get a replay real quick there of the start of our race, and this is kind of where it went a little bit pearl-shaped. So Martin's got tagged, and there it is. It just ends up in, well, as you said, Spa again. Look behind. It's just nowhere to go, isn't it, from the other drivers?
And that is, yeah, just
Philip was even involved in this one too, I think.
I think it's
he
Harper
survived actually.
or
That's how
Saunders.
Philip survived. You can see a couple of cars up the road. Just seeing if I can get a better camera angle on that one, of course, because there's just so much action that had occurred.
Yeah, it just looks like a car gets his nose up the inside into the vortex of danger and just gets squeezed by the two cars trying to close each other off, not seeing him there. And it's one of those unfortunate lap one things that can happen. It is generally in those situations on the car that squeezes his nose into a closing gap. Let's have a look here at the front. There it is. He squeezes in between them and, yep, spins Lee around. And you've got to say that's going to be on that car there. And he does get through as well after all of that.
So much, isn't it? So much.
Absolute carnage.
It actually kind of like, I mean, I love it. The standing starts is fantastic, but at that point when you have massive accidents like that, you kind of go, maybe they should maybe looking at doing some rolling starts after that one. Is that, I don't know, even if that will fix it.
I prefer standing start, honestly. A standing start always gives rise to those kinds of incidents, and some people get better starts than others, and it's about practicing those starts as well. We've got some info in chat. We've got close to reverse 12 after that. This track is my nemesis, says Martin Lee, and I can't wait to get taken out. And accidents happen, Reese. Get over it, says William Burfield. So not pulling back any punches there on Reese, who's still down in P8 in class here in this 30-minute race. A lot of work still to do for him. He's definitely got the pace to get through. Mukian up into P4 in class after starting on the front row. He's dropped a few positions, but he did drop more than that at the beginning. But managed to escape the carnage a little bit, I imagine. But I'm quite sure who it was who got that such a rocket start there and then squeezed in between two cars. But you've got to say that there's maybe a bit of a penalty coming their way, and everything that followed was a result of that. And yeah, there's not a lot you can do as a driver as you're trying to be cautious coming into turn 1 and you just see a wall of cars blocking your path. There's not a lot you can do in that situation other than stop on track. And in that situation, generally what happens is you get a big smack up the behind. And yeah, but still 20 minutes to go. Pit stops to go as well. And I'm going to imagine we're going to see more action, more overtakes. We've seen some great racing through the second and third sectors here at Brands Hatch. Difficult to race side by side here, but these guys are not shy of it at all. And yeah, the moment a few guys out of position. Saunders is down even further again. Something else has happened to Saunders. He said he couldn't wait to get taken out again, and he didn't have to wait too long, did he?
No, he's left pit road. I don't see anything else that's happened with him. Rob Coleman, unfortunately, has had a little bit of a moment. Just give me a bit of this little battle that's still brewing up at the moment between Paul. And there he is, and Philip, as you said, that's in the wars. Philip's loving this one. Camera's been on Philip quite a bit here for the Racing League Hub Red team.
Look at the gap between Philip, Van Rens. Zinskas and Thomas have already got past Van Rens ahead, and McConaughey is holding up Cowlishaw like no tomorrow, and he's got Van Rens not far in front as well to get through. And poor Cowlishaw is thinking to himself, just get out of my way, please. I've got a race to be getting on with. I want a podium. I want a win. I've got to catch up Thomas and Zinskas, and there's only 19 minutes of this race left, and he's not going to be too pleased with this hold-up, but he's entitled to it. He's in the same class as well, so he wants this position, he wants these points, and when they both catch up to Van Rens as well, he'll be thinking the same thing. I don't care that you're pro, I am, and I want to get into pro. I want it all, as Freddie Mercury.
I was going to say, he wants it all, and he wants it now. You're going to earn it, my friend. You can see the battle behind. We're going to stay on board with Wesley so we can see this, because you don't usually get to see this angle. I'm sure Wesley's hopefully not looking in his mirrors too much about it. He just knows there's two cars there. He just knows he needs to keep ahead of them and let them do their stuff.
Though is Philip defending, and he then opened the door on the inside. I'm not sure why he did that, but he's opened the door on the inside for Cowlishaw, and Cowlishaw just took that like the proverbial candy from a child, and but still doesn't get the position. He manages to squeeze him out of it in the end, and he remains stuck, does Cowlishaw. So all to do still. What a race. What great defending here from
he puts his nose into it, my friend. Here you go.
Or he might just try and go in 30s, and he's going to get close.
Oh, he could not get
how
close.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you get a bit of bad net code there, that is good night. But they trust in their internet by the looks of things. But Cowlishaw is proving so difficult to get past McConaughey here. McConaughey not as slow as one as I believe, but it's proving to give us a great source of entertainment here as Cowlishaw struggling to get past. He's got the pace over McConaughey, I think, but having the pace and getting the overtake are two different things. McConaughey is making that car a veritable 5 feet wide. He is really making it as hot.
And now traffic up the road. So will that come into play with the drivers or not? No, there it is. It's almost a mirror image, wasn't it? Was that the 57 machine, I think it was, that was off the road there, got out of the way, just as he did in the first race. This time around, I think he's learned to keep the wheel off that grass a little bit. To no fault of his own, as I said. Well, that's the reason why he'd be out there learning at the moment.
Still unable. Oh, there's a dive here into Druids, and he has sent it big time there. Gets the inside, pushes his way through, and eventually he's now got that position. And that's the third or fourth time that's happened.
Currently can't go off at the moment. There it is. So one battle, we brought it over to another one. The camera is definitely greedy for all action on track here currently at the moment with 16 minutes to go. Round 2. Just round 2. Can you imagine what we're going to see all season long? This is just a taste. You're foaming at the mouth for a bit of motorsport racing here at Evolution Sim Racing, or you'll definitely be frothing for more action, as this is only round 2, as I said. Much, much more to come.
Yeah, this is Thomas we're on board with Zelinskas battling for the lead. These guys have been going out of hammer and tongs for a few laps as well, but Thomas, just like Cowlishaw, finding it very difficult to overtake a driver that doesn't want to be overtaken at Brands Hatch. We've got more side-by-side racing here between Donnelly and Robin Aston in the black car here, and it's around the outside into, I believe it's Hawthorne Bend we're at the moment, and you've got to give it up. The inside line too strong there. Come round Westfield Bend, and you really want to line the overtakes up for a long time, put them under a lot of pressure, force the mistake. Looking at the inside here is Thomas into turn 1, as maybe Druids is the best bet to go for that dive down the inside, but you're going to be so late on the brakes compared to your competitor, and if they're already equal on pace or so, you're not going to make the corner if you brake that much later to get up the inside when you're a car length behind. But we are being in for a treat here by the looks of things. We're seeing a lot of fantastic side-by-side action around Brands Hatch.
Absolutely. I am loving this one. I hope you are loving it out there. Give us a thumbs up. And also hit the heart button icon as well too in the chat if you're enjoying it as much as what we are. That's myself.
William
Mr.
Burfield in
Biggles,
the chat saying,
Steven.
William Burfield in the chat saying some cracking racing happening here, and the commentary is top notch. Nice work, boys. Keep it up. So thank you very much for those kind words. And yeah, please like and subscribe. And if you want to get involved, anybody wants to get involved. Ooh, that's a big spin there, and that's so well avoided by the Sky Liveried car behind. That's Hussein. Going off track there. He's done well to catch it, keep it out the barrier, but obviously that's a moot point with no damage.
I was just hoping that nobody else actually came back and, or he didn't come back and collect it. It is another little, you got those marbles starting to form too on the outside, but didn't quite hit the marbles at this point as Graham just goes a little bit too wide there, but thankfully it's probably one of the best wide moments that you want to take around Brands Hatch and get away with it, so...
Yeah, you get a fair bit of grip still on that there. The green is, most of it is still a curb, and there's a few of those around Brands Hatch where it looks all green, but it is actually a curb, and you can't use it without getting an off track. Especially, I believe it is on the exit of, I think it's Sheens. That's got a big runoff, but I could be wrong. It could be Westfield Bend as well, but still action brewing all over. We've got Matthew on Sarah Cardeslet. And we've got Lee here on Aston as well, and he makes short work of that. So much more speed. I think that's big off track there as well. Into the gravel, it looks like another. That's maybe contact between the two. Hopefully, the guy behind didn't rejoin in 2 and save him. And it looks like we've got Stuart Briley getting through.
Or is this been instant? So David Clark's gone off there.
He's just followed him and then hit him.
And
it looks like they've got the same livery on the car as well.
Well, there's two different names, of course. So there's Clark, but there's Clark with an E and Clark without an E. And this is both Sean Clark and Dave Clark have come together here. So
this is
I was going to say Clark brothers, but they're not. I don't think they're siblings or family members, but either way. They're Clarks.
No, but CC Racing suggests that there could be Clark Racing, so there could be teammates, and you don't want to see teammates hitting each other, but it looks like they both just made the same mistake, followed each other. There's braking points and just outbrake themselves for the corner, and a big gravel trap on the exit. It's not a place you want to outbrake yourself. This is an old school circuit, of course, Brands Hatch. Gravel traps everywhere, unlike most of the modern tracks now, especially in F1. Got a lot of runoff for a safety feature, but there's still got those horrible sausage curbs that are still breaking a lot of drivers back.
Yeah, but the beauty of this virtual world is that, you know, you can afford to hit the barrier at high speeds and not worry about hospital bills, as Alex is really pushing it up the road there of Wesley Van Res.
Oh, and this is 4P1, is it not, as well? So,
yes.
not for class. It's Ricer just behind Van Rens there. As you see, they're both in the same livery.
That's right.
Dark maroon Ferrari there. And that was Fretwell getting through for P5 in class and on track as well. We've got a man behind as well, Harper, who I believe might have been, that looks like maybe the car that was involved in that one incident caused mayhem. And maybe be put down to a racing incident because he did get squeezed by the two cars in front, and he did have a bit of overlap.
What do you do too at the moment too? Because you're Wesley, you're battling it out at the moment in your class, of course, with Van Res, and then Harper seems to be a little bit quicker, but then he's pro quick. But you don't have to let him through, of course. There is no rules for the AM drivers to say you're a pro driver, so you just scoot on by. No, absolutely not, because you're at this level here. You're putting great race lap times in.
Harper comes into the pits, and there's a car coming out of the pits at the same time as well. So there's a couple of guys pitting early. I think that's Clark who's coming out the pit exit there as well. So a couple of drivers pitting early, taking on a bit of fuel, and hoping to get to the end of the race. So I'm wondering, every driver is going to have to do that eventually.
Perhaps.
Oh, here we go. And it looks like, yeah, he's gone through nice and cleanly on Zelinskas there as well. Maybe giving it up a bit. That doesn't look like he was battling particularly hard. So I wonder if there was maybe some contact between them and he's giving the position back out of sportsmanship. If that's the case, kudos to the man.
Just an overtake there. There it is. That was a little bit of a mistake, wasn't it? Out of the corner.
Yeah,
there.
he's gone off track there. And once he's gone off track, he can't actually try and block and defend that. It would be a very big block if he tried to defend that after going off track. So much more speed from Thomas on the exit. But that's what Thomas wants. He's been applying the pressure for quite a while. And Thomas, so this guy's back through now. So he's giving it back. I'm wondering what's going on there. Yeah. So maybe we'll find out in the interviews afterwards. But let's have a look. It looks like, nope, he's made a mistake as well. He's gone onto the grass on the outside as well, so that's lets Zelinskas back through Thomas, and whether that doesn't look intentional, to be honest. It doesn't look intentional, but it could have been. But you'd have to be very confident that you can touch the grass there without sending yourself flying into a barrier in order to do that. But so I think that's just two honest mistakes from both of them, and we've seen a swap and a swap back, and now Cowlishaw is on at the back of these guys. And we've got a three-way battle for the lead.
That's actually very, very true, isn't it?
4.5 seconds down the road, though. We've got a battle brewing here. A switchback from Reiser as he's trying to really turn the screw now on Van Rens. Teammates as well. They want to be careful, but at the same time, there's no love lost between teammates. Ask Nico Rosberg. Although I'm pretty much still on Lewis's side in regards to their contact in Spain. It was never on that move. And you've got to be a little more careful around your teammates generally, but try telling a racing driver not to race another racing driver on a racetrack. It's nigh on impossible. No team orders.
The greatest, most of the greatest world champions have always, if you look back in sports like Formula 1, stuff like that, they've always come together to teammates, haven't they? Every single one of them, you look at it, I mean, if you look at it, at Rosberg, he's been world champion, he's come together with his teammate. Jenson Button's world champion, he's come with his teammate. Lewis Hamilton multiple times has come in collision with his teammates. Sebastian Vettel, world champion, and come with his teammates. Alonso has come in contact with teammates. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Because they first have to beat their teammates and get a psychological thing. Schumacher, how many times did he have issues and stuff? You've got to get in your psychological head, don't you, to get it over your teammate first, and then you go on and win those champions, and that's just the way it goes.
Obviously, the cars are identical, so you're in the same machinery. We've got another overtake here. Is this Cowlishaw trying up the inside of Thomas, unable to get it done, and he's already had a lot of practice getting past McConaughey in the background there, but look how much of a gap has developed between McConaughey and Cowlishaw, showing you the difference in pace there. 5 seconds almost up the road now compared to McConaughey, and he still couldn't get past McConaughey. He was stuck behind him for several laps. So you can imagine that even if he's got a great deal of pace over Thomas here, and even if Thomas has got a great deal of pace over Zelinskas, it's going to take a monumental mistake from Zelinskas to let these guys through. Zelinskas, all he has to do is defend that inside line. I don't want to bang on about it, but the inside line is pretty powerful here at Brands Hatch. It affords you a lot of grip and gives you the inside camber on those off-camber corners all through the racetrack. So if you can defend it, it makes it very difficult for people to pass. And now these two are both going in there, and that was a late call from Thomas as well. I don't think Cowlishaw expected it, but these guys want to go for the undercut by the looks of things, and I'm wondering whether the overcut might be the better option, because you're going around still at full pace, at full whack, and you don't know where you're going to end up when you come out of the pits, and whether you're going to be stuck behind a armed driver who is just not on your pace. And we've seen, as we saw with Cowlishaw and McConaughey, it's not easy to overtake even if you're faster. Got more action on track between Stefan Parkinson here, who's down in the dumps at the moment. He's only half a tenth behind Hadfield at the moment, really putting the pressure on. Hadfield going to try and squeeze him into turn one. He's not using all of the track on the outside. He's going to squeeze into a car exiting the pits as well. That was, if you want to talk about Code Brown moments, there was the definition of a Code Brown. And it looks like he's just had to give it up, hasn't he, Parkinson? He's just had to give that up. And now he's got a guy behind him, Thiago Reiser, who's going to one past in short order. Thiago Reiser making his pit stop. The only guys so far not to make a pit stop was Zelinskas, McConaughey, Fretwell, and Jardine in the top.
I was just gonna say, how
guys
weird
just
is it
love.
to look at that green livery at a Ferrari? It's just like, you know, it must send cringes, isn't it? If you were Enzo Ferrari looking at that, going, a green Ferrari? What? I mean, it's just so strange. Obviously, some of the other colours out there, you know, a little, as you can see up the road there, as well too from Reese. You know, that's not. It's just not as real green like an Aston Martin kind of green. Just to add a little bit of insult to the Ferraris, because there's a lot of red cars out there on the track, you can see. But yeah, anyway.
Front three in the pits though, as they are now exiting, and Thomas gains the lead with the undercut. But it looks as though Zelinskas has not managed to. Karabelas has not managed to gain anything on his outlap there. So Thomas, the big gainer, he's gained almost a second as well over Zelinskas. Is skipping a little bit on my stream, so I'm going to restart.
Yep, we might have sort that out for a second as we are underway in the racing. Of course, we are underway with the. Well, everybody's made a pit stop apart from Trustwell. That's currently all the way running down. He'll be in the pit road soon. Alex has gone in there, so Robin Trustwell is in P14 overall. And we'll have to go take that mandatory pit stop. He's back. Yep, just lost you there for a second, sir.
Yeah, no problem. I just pressed the wrong button as I restarted my stream. But yeah, looks like Thomas, though, as I was mentioning there, gets the undercut. Strategy pays off big time for him. And Karabelas made the same decision, but didn't work for him because Zelinskas maybe came out just in between as well. So a little bit of an advantage with the undercut here at Brands Hatch. 4 minutes to go, and Thomas has now got everything in his own hands. Oh, Karabelas makes a big mistake, gets on the grass. Out of the final corner there as well, and that's going to mean that that releases Zelinskas now to attack for P1. He was looking in his rear views, and that was what I was about to say there as well. He was looking in his rear views more than he was ahead, but with that mistake from Paul, he's now got breathing space behind, and we've got a two-way battle for the lead into the final moments of this race.
Yeah, a couple of battles but brewing up at the moment, as you can see around there at the moment with Jackins. And there is another one. I was going to say it's Glass up the road there. That's another battle that's brewing for Mr. Glass, Joe Glass, trying to get in over table. We'll get that one done, actually, because I forgot that Trustwell has made a pit stop, the last one to make a pit stop. So no need to show that up on the information anymore. Everybody's made that. Visit down the pit road. Don't have to do it again, not even for repairs, because there is no repairs required on these cars. So back up to the top of the timesheets and the battle between Mark Thomas, the man leading this race, and Zelinsky in P2. He's hanging in there, and as you said that before, Paul in P3 was in this party, still could be there if there's a little bit of a mistake between these two drivers, and it is very possible, of course. I've seen a lot
Very
of those
easy
off
to make a
tracks.
mistake around here, but it looks like it's Paul that's making the mistakes as it stands. But he is catching back up at the train, but because of that mistake he made out of the final corner, Clark Curve, getting on the grass on the outside there, it's going to be a tall order to get back into a real fight with these two. These two are going to be looking at each other, and if they start battling hard, then that could open the door for Karabelas to catch up. But Thomas has it all in his own hands, and he's going to be thinking to himself at the moment, all you need to do is keep the laps clean and avoid anything untoward and defend that inside line, and this is his for the taking. But honourable mention here to Reiser, who's still winning in his ARM category, and that would be his third or fourth win out of 4 races that have come so far in the series so far, this being round 2, but we have 2 races in each round as well. So Reiser could very well be getting a first class ticket to the Pro category, giving his speed so far in this series. Saunders down 5 positions after this race, but he's done a remarkable recovery drive, pitting in early and then gaining a lot in those pit stops by the looks of things. He's now up to P6 in class, and but he's not going to be able to catch Reiser up ahead to get him on track, I don't think. 8-second gap there and only 1 minute 33 to go.
James Bostic is looking to get a possible last overtake there. Yeah, and position gain there on Matthew Jones. So 3 positions lost.
Slow car ahead. And that's caused mayhem.
Oh, it has.
for
Who's
them.
off? Oh! That's
It is Jones.
Jones, I think he might be right on that one. Matthew Jones has come off track, yeah.
a very slow car there that you saw him getting punted and sliding sideways, and he looks he's very slow on the racing line as well, and Jones gets taken out by the slower car. He would have been blue flagged as well, which doesn't mean he has to get off the racing line, but he'd already looked as though he's made a mistake here as well, and he's very slow coming off it. Look, he gets on the grass there, and he looks as though he's going to the inside, and then he doesn't, then he stops. And that is unpredictable. That is not what you want from a blue flag driver. Is predictability is the most important thing. So I get what these guys are doing. I get what Danny was doing, trying to get out of the way of these guys and not affect their racing at all. But honestly, the most important thing you can do is be predictable. And getting off the racing line is not predictable. You can never predict when somebody's going to jump up the inside and put on the brakes. So you've just got to carry on at your own speed and just let the guys overtake you. They're going to send it. Leave the door open for it. That's all you need to do. Some guys at the back here in this series are just being a little bit too nice. But Rhys Saunders is definitely not one for niceties after he's been taken out several times in the first 4 races in this series so far. He's all over the back of Thiago already. Is this Thiago that he's on the back of? It looks as though it is.
No, it's not Thiago.
Yeah, no, this is a back marker. This is...
Yes.
Who is this then?
No, it's Thiago here. You are correct. There's Thiago.
So yeah, the interval...
Yeah.
So I
it's just
imagine
different in class
between
as
the
well too. That's throwing him off,
Right.
of course, because he is in a pro class of Rhys, and he's wanting to get his way back up there. But he would rather be in this position right now, because that's it. Checkered flag. Actually, we missed it, unfortunately. But here it is. Mark Thomas. That's how quick it went. Has done it, and he's won. And he's got 6 positions gained, 12 overall. What a drive, my friend.
It's the day belongs to Thomas. You've got to say, that fantastic overtake in the first 20-minute sprint, and then he gets the undercut to win the show in the 30-minute sprint as well. So a podium and a win. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant drive from Thomas. And Zelinskas, Kowlishaw were also great on track today as well. You've got to say McConaughey has great racecraft today. Defended his heart out, but just didn't have the pace for it as well. Saunders probably thinking this is one to forget after the amount of times he got punted. And yeah, there's going to be a Lord's inquiry into the start of that 30-minute one. But I believe, I don't want to I never want to say this in stone, but I believe it's probably going to come a little bit down onto Harper's head at the beginning of that race, because it was him, I believe.
Across the line.
I could be wrong.
Look at that. There you go, Mark. We kind of just missed the very end there, but bingo, job done. Checkered flag. Good job for the green Ferrari. That's right, the green Ferrari for the CRN Motorsports team. I hate missing the drivers crossing the line after a fantastic win. So, of course, thank you for the replays. We got that one as they pull into pit road.
Whew. I have to say, that was epic racing. It had it all. It had drama, it had poor racecraft, it had great racecraft, it had collisions, it had everything, to be honest. Absolutely everything.
The, feature
what a
race
fantastic
results.
race.
That's the Heat 1 results,
Yeah.
feature race results for you to go through.
So, feature race then. Mark Thomas with a fantastic drive for CRN Motorsports. The 150 driver takes home the win, the first of his season. Auramas with a fantastic P2 finish as well. Finally, things kind of fell into place for him, and he gets a strong finish. Battling for the win till the very end. Only 3/10 in it there. Kowlishaw for the privateer team gets a good result. We're going to see more of that from him, I imagine, through the as the season goes on. And Philip McConaughey in P4 with a fantastic result. He raced his heart out, but just did not have the pace to catch up, to keep up with these top 3 guys. Raz Harper for the TBC team, I imagine that's to be confirmed, or it could be his actual team name, in P5. And Thiago Reiser on the fast track to the pro class by the looks of things. He's dominated his field for so far all 4 races by the looks of things. Other than the one time he got taken out, I think he's finished on the front row in every race so far, but I could be wrong. We need to get those results up for the next race. Rhys Saunders in P7 for Team Yaron, and James Mukian does well in his class to come home P2 after starting on the front row in pole position for this one. Jamie Jenkins in P9 and James Bostock in a podium position for the first time, I believe, this season. So that's P10 for him. And we've got Wesley Van Rens, who was running a lot higher earlier on. Maybe got an untowards moment that we missed. Is in P11, and Matthew Jones in P12. Mark Jardine in P13, and Alex Fretwell in P14. I think Fretwell maybe got caught up in the shenanigans at the beginning and it doesn't get the result he wanted. But he did well in the sprint race in the 20-minute there. We've got Robin Aston in P15, and Modestas Krasauskas in P16, and Stephen Donnelly in P17. Moving on, we've got Joe Glass, who's been in and out of the wars today in P18, but he had some pace. He had some good overtakes on track as well. We've got Robin Trustwell in P19, Graham Matthew in P20, Stuart Briley in P21, Sean Clark in P22, and Adrian Hadfield in P23. And we've got Hussein in P24. Showed more pace in Silverstone than he did here today, not being his week, unfortunately. But Dave Clark in P25, Danny Stewart in P26 finishes up this race, and Martin Lee in P27. And then rounding out the grid is Stefan Parkinson, who's had one to forget. He should be up there fighting for the wins, and he's down in P28, and Rob Coleman in P29, followed by Ayrton Hadfield in P30. So that is it over for the racing. Let's see if we can find anybody to interview. And after last week we only had 2. We've got 6 people in the interview channel here today. So we're going to move on with that very quickly. We're going to bring in, first of all, the ARM winner, Thiago Reiser. Thank you for taking the time out to do an interview. Just a very quick one. First of all, fantastic race for you again. That's another win in the bag. Not your first in this series. You've got to be very pleased with how things are going.
Yeah, that was fun actually. That was more fun than last week. I had a couple of nice battles as well. With some pro drivers, with some fast pro drivers. So
Yeah,
that was really fun. Yeah.
We caught a lot of that on the stream, so I'm sure you'll enjoy watching that back. Some great racecraft on the show as well. And speaking of the pro drivers as well, that's the second question I have got for you as well. What do you think about going up to the pro class? Is that something that you're aiming for? Something that you want?
Probably not now. Maybe in the future, though. I think for this season, the AM class will be best for me. I'm still not like at the same pace as some of the pro drivers, so.
Some of the pro drivers are definitely a step above, but you're in there and you're mixing it up with them. But got to say, you gave as good as you got with the pro drivers. You definitely weren't just pulling over to the side and giving positions up for them.
No,
fighting for them.
I was having fun, honestly. That was a lot of fun, yeah.
I mean, it looked fun, definitely, to be fair as well. And final question, your closest rival is Stefan Parkinson, and he's had a day to forget here today. He's finished down in P28 in that final 30-minute race. So that's going to let you stretch your lead out there in the championship. Is that something that you're aiming for the season, is to win the championship?
Well, after last week, I didn't think I would keep up that pace or that performance, but now I think, yeah, I might have a shot at it, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm going for it, yeah.
And you say in your press room as well that you want to beat Alex Fretwell because he called you out in a message. So is there a rivalry brewing there with one of the pro drivers?
I dive bombed him on lap 1 in the second race. And I didn't even know it was him until I went past him. I was like, oh, that's Alex. So yeah, there's always been a rivalry between us. He's a good mate of mine, so yeah.
You've beaten by some margin today then, so congratulations on that goal as well. Yeah. But we're going to move on quickly because we've got a lot of people to interview. Yeah, sure, I want to get through them. So thank you very much for your time, Thiago, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you for the broadcast. I've heard some bits. Fantastic as usual.
Thank you. Yeah, take care. Have a good one.
Yeah, good one. Bye-bye.
So we'll decide who to interview next. We've got a long list. We'll go with the winner of the pro class next, and then we'll look at some others. But the winner of the pro class, Mark Thomas, with us in the booth then. Fantastic race for you in the end. You got that position at the death with a brilliant undercut. Was that in your head? Had you practiced that prior to this race, or did you just think, I'm stuck in a train here, I need to do something different?
I thought I had just a little more pace. Just a fraction, so I thought I'm going to take the undercut here. I had a quick look at the track map, and there was like a relatively clear track behind me. So I knew that when I came out, I should be relatively traffic free. So that allowed me to just get a bit of get a decent lap in on the out lap and push on. And I think that's what gave me the gap.
So we also had Paul Cowlishaw behind you coming into the pit. He thought the same thing as well. He's copied your idea, essentially. Copyright it next time, I guess. But he did the same thing, but it didn't work for him. Did he make a mistake behind you that you saw, or do you think it was just luck of the draw that Auramas managed to squeeze in between you?
I think he was in. I think he was stationary a little bit longer than I was, because he came in, and I think I left maybe like half a second or a second quicker than he did. I don't know if it was like I took a little less fuel, because I'd kind of worked it out to like within half a gallon, so I'd have a lap spare just in case it all went a bit sideways. But yeah, I think he just took a little bit more fuel than I did.
Oh, so that's answered that question brilliantly for us then. Brilliantly. We've got a lot of reviews to get on with. So the last question there for you, Mark. Going forward, this is we haven't seen you on the top spot or a podium, I believe, so far in the series. And there was a big bit of drama at the very beginning of this 30-minute race. I don't know if you saw the carnage, but if you watch the race back, it was immense, the carnage there. How do you feel about races going forward, though? Do you think you've got the pace at other tracks to try and compete at the very top end?
I don't know about the pace at the very, very top end. I mean, the 2 year one drivers are absolutely blistering out there. So I'm not sure I've got the pace, but I do get good starts. I've been practicing my starts, and I can get off the line really well. So I think that kind of worked for me, because I took a dive. I took a gap right down the right hand side, and as the carnage was happening to my left, I could see it, and it was all, you know, it was all happening on my left-hand side, and then a gap just opened in front of me. It was like the passing of the Red Sea, and I just went straight through it. And there was a guy behind me who just followed me straight through. So, you know, it kind of panned out. It was luck of the draw, I think, this one.
Sometimes the racing gods are smiling on you, and they were certainly smiling on you today. So we'll let you go, though. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Pop that champagne out. Get the bubble bath ready. Congratulations once more on your first win.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
No problem. You enjoy. Bye-bye. Let's see who else we've got to interview. We'll go with Raz Harper next. He's up there and fighting for the top positions. P5 today, Raz. A good showing in the end. We expected you to maybe be a little higher up, but it's solid points for your championship charge. You and Reese were P1, P2 last time out. And I've got a question from last week, if you don't mind. Last week you let Reese through. Are you teammates? Are you friends? What happened there in last week? Because we didn't get to answer that question last week.
Yeah, last week I went wide into Cops, so I lost the run. He was behind me, he had the run on me. So rather than obviously slowing us both down, I kind of let off and let him through. So it wasn't team order or anything. I took that corner wide, and I thought it was just easy to get behind him and keep momentum.
It was all about your own race rather than his, just sensible decision to try and...
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He probably has slightly bit more better pace than me, maybe 1 or 2 tenths a lap so far. It'd be just getting behind and getting the slip, because I went wide. That's all it was.
Brilliant stuff. So good to see more action on track between the two of you, more fighting in the future. Reese has been in the wars a bit so far, and you've managed to come through it cleanly. I apologise if this was you, but I want to talk about the carnage, lap 1, turn 1. It looked as though it might have been you, or it might not have been you, but it looked as though you got a rocket start and squeezed your way in between 2 drivers, and it was a closing gap, and then all hell broke loose after that. Was that you, first of all, before I go any further?
No, it wasn't me. I think I had a look at it. I think it was Skimmiscast, was it? I think it was him. I got caught up in the back, because I think he hit 2 cars trying to get through a gap that shouldn't have been gone through, to be honest. And then I think carnage. So it wasn't me, but I ended up at the back of it.
Apologies then, but you did you get through it in short order? It looked like a real tough one to deal with. But,
I was ended up at the back of the grid and just thought, right, let's get my head down. I think I caught up to some guys around P8, P7, and they were slowing me up, so I just tried the undercut, and it worked, luckily for me.
Brilliant stuff. So a good recovery in the end. You get P5 in class, and but maybe are you thinking to yourself that maybe if that didn't happen, that I would have been fighting for the win? Given
yeah, I was a bit good, to be honest. I didn't really have the pace in quali and stuff. Didn't much practice this week. I'm still struggling, so I was probably going for podiums both races, but I think I got a lap marker took me out in the first race when I was in P3, I think. And then the second race, like I said, all that carnage, I was just trying to get back. So yeah, I'm a bit gutted because I was aiming for podiums both races, but like I said, it was a good recovery drive in the end.
Yeah, fantastic recovery drive in the end as well. And we'll just finish up here very quickly. It's a long road still to go. Is it the top end that you're looking at, or is it just a case of each race as it comes? Or you got Spa next, a 1 hour race? How do you feel about that? I'm imagining you've done a fair bit of practice for the 24 if you're doing that.
No, I'm very new to iRacing. I've only really been doing it properly for a couple of months. So this is my first league, first time driving GT3s properly. So my aim this season is just trying to get used to the car, used to the physics, the way it drives, and see how fast I can go. Really, if I can compete with the top guys, great. If not, just try my best. But like I said, I'm hoping to finish near the top. If I get the top 3 at the end, I'll be happy.
Oh, kudos for doing so well, so young into your racing career. I've been there a couple of years now, and I still don't think I would be finishing quite high as you in these races. But that is the nature of Brands Hatch, I suppose, as well. It's a tough track to race at. Tell us about a couple of the challenges of this track. Are there any particular corners that really scare you?
Yeah, it's because it's such a short track with that many cars on. It is quite difficult in terms of corners. Most people struggle with the fast corners, the fast rights because they're blind. I quite like them corners, to be honest. It's more like going down T1 where you've got to carry the speed and get the entry in and the hairpin. That section 1, which is quite tricky. But in terms of where people struggle, I think, is those fast blind corners, which people don't realise. Just got to pick your point, throw it in, and just accelerate through it. And I think that's where people normally catch the grass or go a bit earlier, and that's when they kind of lose the car.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of that today. But we'll move on. We're going to do one more interview before we wrap up. Just a very quick one with Alex Fretwell. But thank you very much for your time, Raz, and best of luck.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for the stream. Cheers.
So, one last very quick interview here for Alex Fretwell, and welcome to the booth, Alex. How was that race? It didn't seem to go your way in the end.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, race 2 not ideal. Race 1 was pretty good. Obviously, pulled a lap out in quali. Been out of iRacing for a month since the first Alton race, so just sort of getting back into things. A little bit lucky with one of the back markers. I think took the leader out in race 1, so gained a place there. Yeah, race 2 made it through the start carnage. Followed Mark through. And then I had an incident on lap 2 with James Bostock. I got a better run out of the hairpin, and I think he thought I was going for the move and went to back out of it, but just as he hit the brakes, I pulled him behind. So that put me back a bit. Worked my way back up. I think we would have been sort of fighting for P4 after the stop. And then, yeah, got a ridiculous 40-second penalty for avoiding a back marker and having 2 wheels over the pit line. So 40 seconds just seems insane, to be honest.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We obviously missed out on the stream. We don't get to see those kind of penalties every time, but that's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. But this is just a very quick interview to wrap things up. So there's just one more question, which is regarding Tiago Reiser, I believe it was, who seems to have started a little bit of a rivalry. Are you going to glass him afterwards in the pub, or are you just going to do your talking on the track? Do you think you can beat him over the course of the season?
You just didn't say that, did you?
He's not started anything. It's been going on 4 or 5 years now, back to the F1 PlayStation days. No, it's all good fun.
Oh, so we've got history here then. History.
It's good history, competitive, and yeah, no issue.
We all are on the racetrack. We're all competitive on that racetrack. As soon as we hit the black stuff, all friendship goes out the window and the elbows come out.
Yeah, but I overtook him twice tonight, so he can stop talking.
Wow, his number next to his name says P5, he would say, and yours says P14. I think that's what his response to that would be. That's what my response would be to that. But it's all in good fun, I'm sure. But I'll let you go and go give him what for in the voice chat. But thank you very much for giving us some time in the interview room.
Yeah,
and,
cheers,
better luck next week, eh?
Yeah, thank you.
No glassing. Yes. Wow.
I sometimes get in trouble with the kind of things that I say on stream. I definitely, James.
It's a very British thing anyway. So if anybody's tuning in from the Americas, you won't get that one. But yeah, it's basically just cheersing, isn't it? Just cheersing.
If anybody needs any tips on how to glass somebody, I'm your man. Don't worry. But that was an absolutely fantastic race, you've got to say, Biggles.
Well, I was going to say, if you're talking about glassing, and talking about the master classing of driving from Mark there towards the end as well, too. So in the feature race there, getting the job done for the CRN Motorsports, of course, and that was your first results. And we'll just real quick there, don't forget that's the feature race, but the Heat 1 results there. Paul got the job done as well, and Mark Thomas, of course, P3, Alex Fettrell in the P2. So yes, absolutely And Diego Reiser, a great job there for the AM class, getting himself up into that P5 position. Brilliantly job done, isn't it? So there it is. So overall, Mark Thomas probably had the best results for the weekend.
Yeah, did a fantastic job. Got to interview the man as well. So thank you, everybody, for getting an interview. Sorry to everybody who we didn't interview, but we can't interview everybody. Last week, it was nobody turned up. This week, everybody turned up. It's like London buses. But we'll wrap it up there. It's been absolutely epic racing this evening. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Thank you to everybody who got involved in the chat as well. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.